Welcome to episode 11 of the Sackcast. Here is your hosts, Hamish and Dale. I thought this stupid podcast would die already, and I can be free from my eternal torment. But sadly, like all bands that think they are still cool, these guys want to do a comeback tour. Enjoy.
Why does it sound like Hamish is like 2 seconds out?
No idea. So, hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Sackcast. It's season 2 since we've season 1. We got to 10 episodes. That's technically a season's worth of episodes.
That's a good season of.
I call it the champion season.
The champion. Oh, we have different seasons with different themes.
Well, yeah. So when that game crashes and burns, then that'll be the end of the season.
So as you play a game and as it dies,
yes,
that's the end of
the end of the season.
And the cliffhanger is like, oh, will this game survive?
No, this is Game of Thrones level of plot. Funny that Game of Thrones, the card game, is also dead. So
is it dead? Have they finished all the releases?
Yeah,
now? It is done.
It is done. From what I've heard, they're not releasing any more OP, and they said they will make cards when they're ready. Haha, bye bye. That was it. So when you're not releasing any OP, and they're going to release cards when they're ready, it kind of just goes, yeah, your game's dead. They haven't lost the IP, I suppose, so they're just going to wait until something good happens. I don't know.
There's no more books coming out, is there? So
yeah, there should be another book coming out, but I don't know. That game's dead. We're all dead. All the games are dead. Everyone's dying. Welcome to 2020.
Okay, I was to say welcome. My name's Dale. And
hi, Dale.
And
I'm Hamish.
Because we haven't introduced ourselves.
No, we don't need to. It's season 2. Everybody knows the characters by now.
Oh,
right?
Season 2. You always know it. The first season's always rubbish. Season 2 is where you start getting to.
Yeah, season 1 is when you're trying to. Well, technically, season 1 should be the good episodes, and then it goes downhill from there.
Oh, we've run out of ideas.
Yeah.
Oh no! What are we going to talk about?
The budget goes up, but the budget goes up, but the plot is awful.
The budget has gone up. We've got video.
Yeah, you've got really good mics. I mean, I don't know about my mic. I think my mic would probably be awful. I think the last 2 episodes were really good. We
have a studio we can record in. Just we can't record in it together.
Not at this current stage, no. But I mean, right now, this works. The video thing's fine. For now, I need to actually, to be fair, I probably would be worth me investing in actually getting some proper mics. But who knows if this is a thing that continues on for season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah, season 3.
Good.
So yeah,
I don't know what we're going to name. We're going to name it already.
So this is the ass tier season.
Ass tier season.
Yeah.
So you're playing Sky. Sky.
Yeah, I'm playing. There's a new game that I've hopped onto now. It's a game called Sky Tear, and it is a really, really awesome game that just sort of came left field, really, straight out of nowhere.
Where did you find out about it?
I was actually found it on YouTube from the Covenant team. I don't know if you've
Team Covenant.
Team Covenant, yeah. I'm fairly established. It's a store from Canada, and they do a lot of YouTube stuff. They're fairly well known in the gaming world, so I'm pretty sure
I've seen Covenant stuff.
Yeah, I just saw the game pop up.
The camera, so those can see. We love Canada. It's all about Canada.
Oh, Canada!
Your moose are great and white.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada. All of this is Canada's fault. Anyway, so that store's from Canada, and they had a YouTube up of this game. I have no idea why I thought it would be a good idea. I clicked on it, and I just started watching. I thought, well, this game is awesome. So it's based off a MOBA style game. So if MOBA games are popular ones like League of Legends and Dota 2, and it's a board game card deck builder that is based around that style of play. So you have lanes, you have champions, and you've got to control lanes to push the command point forward. And you have 4 different champions that you can use to do that. And there's 4 different factions for each ones. There's the blue guys, the yellow guys, green guys, and the red guys. And they have about 6 champions per one. And you don't align yourself to one of those colors. You can mix up however way you want it. And the deck building part is awesome because each champion that you pick, they are assigned 7 cards, and then they have an ultimate that you've got to include in them. So when you're making your list, you have 6 champions. Each of them have got their own deck with their, you make the deck how it is, but you only draft in the game 4 of those champions. So your list consists of 6 champions, but then you don't know what the missions are going to be. So then you would have those champions for what the missions are and what the opponent brings. Is a lot of.
It is a board game esque with a deck build element, but then also there's a painting, collecting miniatures side of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. I think that I'm trying to understand the term collective miniatures because.
So because the miniatures come unpainted.
Yes, built. They come built.
They're like the plastic fully.
Yeah, they're fully built up.
They're not like multi-part. Yeah.
So they come pre-made, unpainted. And if you get the starter set, you basically get 2 of each of the factions. You get 2 heroes from each of the factions, and then there's 4 expansion boxes for each faction, which has 4 of those champions in that as well. So I suppose, is that a collectible? Yeah.
Does it lean particularly more towards a board game or more towards a card game? Or
it's really. I'd say it's definitely a board game, but I think the card gaming element is also along the lines of an LCG, a living card game. If you don't know what it is, an LCG is Netrunner, Conquest sort of style stuff. You don't. It's not like Magic or Pokemon where it's a trading card game where you got to hope you find the ones that you want. All the cards are in that you're going to get the same cards in the starter set. The expansions, they have these cards, and if you get that expansion pack, you get the cards just like you would in a normal LCG format. So that's how that works. And the deck building part feels exactly like an LCG. But at that point, there is a board game. You're definitely playing a board game, but it's quite a unique thing within itself. But it's probably the closest thing to it is Shadespire from Warhammer. But there's no dice. That's the best bit.
Because Shadespire, the factions are different, but it's still quite contained and rigid in what you can and cannot do within the defines of the rule. There's very little room for maneuver in the rules. This is what this thing does, or the rule.
Yeah, but I think I suppose in the sense that's correct. It's very, very simple. Everybody, like when you do movement, you move. The board is a hex board as well, so that's where it's very similar to Shadespire. And you can only move up to 3 hexes, so everyone moves 3. There's no debate in, what does this guy do and what does this guy do? It's you move 3. Okay, how do I hit? Well, if you're a melee person, you hit the person in the adjacent hex. If you have range, you can shoot someone within 3 hexes. That's the rule. How much damage do I do? Well, it says your guy does 3 damage. So if I shoot you, I do 3 damage. And then also as well, the cards, they have a random element part to it where it will say 3 damage plus 1. It will say +1 on the card. So that means you flip the top card of your deck, and there's always a number on the top right corner of the card that will be a modifier to it. So it'd be +0, +1, +2, or even a -1.
But you could lose that card ability by flipping it.
Exactly, yeah. So when you're building the deck, you want to try and have cards that have good modifiers, but then you also want to have the card's ability as well. And there's also how much mana it costs as well to play the card. And to play the card is if the card costs 1 mana, whatever turn it is on the game. So there's only 5 turns in the game. So in turn 1, you can only play 1 mana cards. On turn 2, 2 mana cards. So as the game goes on, you're leveling, your characters are leveling up, the powers are higher.
The risk reward.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another thing that's really cool with the mana is that in order to control the command point, you have to use these cards to do I think it's called it's a lead action. So you put the card face down on the champion, and the mana adds up to the total cost of how many people are around this control token. So you want to have some 3 mana cards to help with leading, as well as, do you know what I mean? There's so much you can build your head around. And like, okay, so how, it's not just it is a simple game, but it's got a ton of depth behind it. And it just caught me by surprise. But you can tell by even me just chatting about this that I'm just really passionate about this.
You're always, when you find a game you like,
I can't. I'm just like, whoa.
You're all in.
If I love it, I can sell it. If that makes sense. I can really make. I try, because I try and I explain it the things I find exciting. And I don't know. I suppose some people go, you know what, that sounds pretty cool. You're like, but yeah, it is. It is cool. The way this thing works is exactly how it sounds. You know, if you're a deck builder, I highly recommend you play this. If you're a card game player that wants to play some model games, but Warhammer or all the other big army builder stuff is a bit imposing, even though the Warhammer range is awesome. The models are amazing.
You compared it to Shadespire, so
Well, Shadespire is also a nice little entry, but I personally think Shadespire falls heavy off the mark because of the dice element. Because whenever the beautiful thing about this game, like a card game, is when I say I'm going to do something, it does it. There's no, I hope it does it. It might do it. It will do it. The only thing that's going to stop it is your counterplay. So you're and like Magic, if you've ever played Magic, there's a stack system. So whenever I say I'm going to do an attack, someone can play a card as a reaction, to which then I get given the opportunity to play a card as a reaction. So you have the stack element as well to react to people's actions. So that way, when everything transpires, you're not sitting there going, oh, well, did I, this is my personal opinion about the dice game with Shadespire is I want to hit you. I roll the dice. Nothing happened. So what did you achieve? Well, you didn't do anything. I just couldn't. The dice said I can't hit. So so I guess it's your turn. Whereas in this game, it's, I'm going to hit you. So what are you going to do about it? And you go, well, I'll react to this. And you go, okay, that's a cool move. And you kind of accept the results more because you feel more outplayed than lucked out, if that made sense. You still got the luck of what card you're going to draw, but it just feels somewhat, somewhat fair. And that's the thing, that's what drew me into this game. And when I had a demo game of it, I was like, yep, that's exactly what I need. I get the card game itch, and I have a board game.
The games that you've always tended towards have been the games that remove a lot of that chance.
Yeah.
I mean, like starting from when we used to play War Machine and Hordes together. Now, yes, it's still a dice-based game. You roll your 2 dice, you get over your target. But that was still, this is the tournament game. This is the one where the rules don't move. And
yeah, I think the law of averages worked for you a bit. The thing is, there was times in those games where when you play War Machine, you roll a double 1. Oh, it's crushing. Because you just felt like,
I always played that
bullshit.
Game against you, and it was crushing as it is. Like,
no, I was the king. I was the king of double 1s. I remember rolling 3 double 1s in a row, and it was just like, I don't know. If I never took the game too,
so much money into that game.
Yeah, I know, but it was great.
It was great at the time, but
yeah, it was great of its time, and then
worthless now.
Yeah, it's dead game. Never dead game. But that's the thing. That's the thing about those sort of games. As I've grown playing more games, I start to find myself that if I want to take this seriously, I am not a person that particularly enjoys luck.
Okay, so I'm going to phrase this one because I found now that as I have grown as a gamer, I enjoy the more exciting systems, the ones that actually bring that element in and create a story in that place. So, like Saga, you've got that random element of what you can and cannot do each turn by the battle board you're playing, or Shut Practice, where you're rolling. If you, whatever, the way you draw the chits or your cards from your deck, and if you draw 3 of a certain type in a row, well, a random event happens. And I really like that novelty. Yeah, novel rule set. That's so I think why I enjoyed Malifaux to a certain degree as well. That you hang on to that pack of cards or that hand of cards so that you could change the outcome of what was going on. That was a really nice mechanic.
Yeah, but then I felt that side leads into more of the things that I quite liked, is that you have random chance from that game. So that game had a deck of normal playing cards, and whatever card you flipped over was the result. So, a 2 of clubs or whatever. So it's a 2, and that's a low result. But you also had the pack of cards in your hand. So if that's a terrible result, I've got a good card, I can change that. So that puts control into your hands.
You could
and
keep
that's good.
Your worst cards, so you could lower the chances. You could thin out the worst cards from your deck, so you could play it both ways, which was always really, really fun. I mean, I think the backstory was ass, but
the backstory made no sense.
Oh, this little girl with a teddy bear is gonna kill you, giant man with a gun, and you're like, what?
Yeah, and I suppose with that game, the thing that balls that game right up was the fact that every person's starter deck was just, or the box you got with these people were just wildly different from anyone else, even though if they're in the same faction. And you almost had to go, well, how do I play this game to your rules? Because you've got your own rules.
I would always play
the top of the rules, and I was like, I've got my own rules. And then there was about 10 or 12 different people, and I thought, this game's just too much.
I'd always play
keep up with this.
The Outcasts, because they were like the closest faction with the most similar outlook. But we remember this, like War Machine and Hordes, how much until you knew the feats, until you knew what happened, you were flawed. And that was it. It was a sharp learning curve.
It was true. I mean, I think when you start the game, when you start the game, I think it's a little bit, it's a bit simple. I think War Machine definitely was much more of a simpler game than Malifaux. I think Malifaux is second to the most overly complex tabletop game.
They both have cards. They both have abilities that.
True, but then War Machine, as time went on, went, okay, what is the ability to give me 3 armor? It's Iron Hide. So instead of just making the same rule with a different name, which Malifaux did, it just had a completely different name every time. He goes, I'm going to use the Fire of Aslic. Okay, what does that do? That gives me +2 attack. Well, I'm going to do the Bull Kicking Ice Punch. Okay, what does that do? Gives me +2 damage. It's the same rule, worded different. Whereas in War Machine, they went, Ironhide gives you 3 armor. Okay, what do you have? I have Ironhide. Oh, I know what that does. My character does that.
It was like a codex creep. And
okay,
and price creep as well, like hugely.
I suppose
these 5 guys cost me £50. Like, oh, good.
I think I know why you really like Malifaux. It's because you won every game. You were really good at that game.
I lost one game.
Out of how many games?
I don't know, 30 something.
Oh, there you go. So 29-1. That's a good ratio. I'm not a mathematician, but that's good maths.
But I realize again, the novelty of the rules. I don't know, but then I want to get behind something. Like, okay, simple. What game has the best lore?
40k.
That's it. Like, it's so immersive, and I get it. They got 20 years head start and stuff, but that's what excites me. Like, okay, so the new release coming out, that excites me.
No, it doesn't excite me.
Just as a chance to advance the lore, not the game itself. Now, I have some Tau models around here. Here you go. I'm reading the Horus Heresy novels.
Great. I'm reading some Horus Heresy novels. I'm not going to lie. The lore's great. Games just gash. in my opinion, it's just it's just too bloated to me. We can. I think someone's asked a couple of questions about dice, which relates very heavily into my opinions on 40k.
D6 suck.
D6 suck balls.
That's it. Like straight up D10.
Yeah, D10's the best. So
And-
what was the question?
We had a question from. Oh gosh, I wrote it down.
Well, I think
somewhere.
it seems weird.
From
I've
Gareth.
already answered the question. What's the question? I've already answered it. So
The
who
Gareth-
asked the question?
Gareth asked us, "What do you think is the best scale of dice?"
D10.
D10. I remember this. And okay, so we found this. Okay, so I can use two examples that link together. So
Okay.
Warlord games have bolt action and they
Yeah.
have Gates of Antares. Bolt action is a great game. It's a simple game. There's very the core rules are very clear. And if you like old school Warhammer or 40k, you kind of get that feel and you can feel it. It's just with World War II people. Everyone's painted green. So whatever.
What's your second example?
The other one is Gates of Antares. Now,
Right.
Gates of Antares,
Same company, weirdly
same
enough.
company, similar people who wrote it, Rick Precis. So, and they had a D10 system, and that worked so much better because there's so much more variation, so much more choice in that. Now,
Great.
when they moved from bolt action version 1 to bolt action version 2, we were like, "Oh, are they going to bring in the D10s?" Because Gates of Antares is just basically it's bolt action with
But in the
D10s
universe,
and in space, and there's a few extra rules.
it's
and
bolt
stuff.
action in space.
It's bolt action in space with really crappy
Yeah,
models.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
But then we saw the advantage of the D10 system over that, and it's just the variation and the choice.
Did it bring over?
No, and we're hopeful. There's hopefully another version of the rules coming out at some point in the future. You know, problem is it's people who play historical game, and these are the casual historicals. It's still like wow.
Well, my example of why I like D10s is I don't even know if this was a great example, but it felt felt fair. I used D10s when playing Kingdom Death. Not quite a tabletop game.
I really struggle with that game. I love it.
It's grand.
Struggle.
Yeah, it's a grand game with. I suppose if you've never seen it, it's gory as all hell. It's weird as all hell. There's no
artwork is stunning. The models are stunning.
There's no modesty.
The game itself plays very nicely.
Yeah, brilliant game. Probably is my favorite, one of my top games of all time.
It's so messed up.
That's why I like it though.
It's so messed up. I've just realised I've left my painting lamp on. Sorry.
Well, that's probably why I was thinking your lighting's great.
No, there's too much. There you go. That's a bit better.
My eyes were getting blind by the sheen of your forehead.
My receding hairline.
Oh no. I'm growing my hair, did you know?
I use it. I've got a ponytail.
You've got your hair's really long. Crikey. You've got you've got enough for a ponytail and you've got long hair at the back. You've got both.
I've gone full hipster.
Full hipster.
I'm waiting for the midlife crisis to come now. You know,
I'm attempting to I'm growing my hair because since the hairdressers have all been closed for God knows how long, I've just went sod it. I'm just going to grow my hair. But yeah, no, Kingdom Death. That was my sort of introduction into D10s, and I just thought the variations of how much that game could offer, just like you were saying with Warlords and Gates and Bolt Action and Gate of Antares.
I would love to get on Gates of Antares, but I just think the models are just trash.
Yeah, I saw the game and I was like,
the rules, genuinely, the rules are, I feel, very nice. It's not a hugely tournament heavy competitive game. Mm-hmm. It's not a very light, unruly game. It's a nice in the middle that you can just get involved with and enjoy. But yeah,
cool. That's I've weirdly, for me, when it comes to dice games in general, I don't want to say dice games, tabletop games, very heavily on dice. I can't take that seriously. Now, people are going to go, well, should you take games like this seriously all the time? No,
yes, you should. It's my life. How dare you speak so badly about my Space Marines?
Space Marines. Space Marines are all going to be Primaris. All the Primaris Marines I've heard from another cool podcasts that we just, listen to and wish we were them. Game classy. They said that from what I hear from them that the Primaris Marines are going to be the Space Marines. The old Space Marines are being phased out, which I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. Anyway, those sort of games, I can't take it seriously. Like in terms of, my brain wants to just tick over and think of new strategies to try and improve my game plan, and I can't get that heavy into a game that just goes, well, you could just crash and burn through
You love to map hammer. You do.
I just want fairness. I just want it to be. I want things to be a bit fair.
But you don't play the same way as a normal grognard does, which is like just absolutely trashing someone going, now I have optimized my deck to peak performance. You play a lot nicer than that. So
I try. I don't know. I think I have my. I don't know. I want to make if I like something, I want to make that the best it can be. I don't want to find the best thing and just do that. But if I happen to play the thing that's really good and it happens to be the best thing, I want to make it, then sure, if I like a particular thing, I want to go, right, well, I like this. I'm going to make this as good as I can do. And if it's not the best thing out there, I'm just going to keep trying to make the thing I like really good. The only game I've managed to play that I can't take too seriously, but still really, really enjoy it is Age of Sigmar. That game is I don't know why it hits me so well.
I always think about the Bone Zone. Ben
and his oh God, how many? 40 skeletons. This was like prior to these new rules updates, but these 40 skeletons could do 120 attacks, and then he would cast a spell to make him do it again. So here's 240 dice. I think you're dead.
I had the Cadoran Overlords. I sold them pretty quickly, and it was just I was like, nah, I'm out. I tried. That's a good game. Because I wanted to get back into it. I was like, because I sold my ogres. I was like, well, I want to get back into Age of Sigmar because you know what? I want to go back to the games we started with, 40k and
Age of Sigmar. No, it was Warhammer Fantasy.
Warhammer Fantasy, but I wanted to go a bit back, and then I just played it, and I went, nah, I'm out. I'm done.
Wow, it's the best thing Warhammer ever did. For Games Workshop ever did.
I know. I'm excited to see what they do with the old world. Now
I'm intrigued by that.
But I am my nephew. We got last week. I got him his first crack.
You got him Warhammer 40k first strike box.
I got him some plastic crack. I'm hoping to get him hooked.
You should just get him to play Skytear.
He'd be up for. I mean, he's
easy.
11 years old. He loves Fortnite and Minecraft and all that kind of jazz.
God, whatever, man.
your kid does the same.
True, but I wouldn't say Skytear is like Fortnite and Mineshaft.
No, but it's in that kind of online-y-esque vibey scale you were saying.
No, I mean it's taken the essence of League of Legends and Dota 2, which they've taken that and said let's make that a board game, and the essence of that is here's champions, named champions. You've got to. There's 3 lanes to try and work on, and you've got to sort of.
So I've got to get him into League of Legends first, and then I've got to get him into Skytear.
No, yeah.
Okay.
Skytear is an easier game for a kid to play. I taught Logan how to play Skytear. I don't know why I'm pointing over there. He's not there.
Who does the coolest models?
Who does the coolest models?
Yeah. Not Kingdom Death. I'm not going to show that to an 11-year-old.
I was going to say Kingdom Death does the coolest models in my opinion, but for a kid, the coolest looking models, I don't know. It's a subjective term, but probably 40k.
I say,
or Age of Sigmar.
My first love. Forget
Space
my wife.
Musical.
My first love was 40k. Being 10 years old, annoying.
Oh no, yeah. To be fair,
annoying the crap out of some lowly. I remember manager. Just like, why do you keep turning up here? And
Did you not?
Cool berserkers and space marines are cool.
Oh, mate, when I was in primary school, I remember being in year 2 or 3, and once a year we had a games day, so everyone brought a board game into school. I don't know what it was about. It was this game day, so everyone brought a board game and stuff in, and there was these two people that had these space marines and orcs, and I went, "What the hell is this? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen." And they said, "It's Warhammer," and I was like, "Oh, this is."
That would have been young, 2 or 3. It's like 8 or 9.
I was. How old was I? I was probably 90. It was in 97.
You were held back a few years, weren't you?
It was in 2012. I finished my primary school. Yeah. No, it was about 98 or 97, and I remember just seeing
So you
them.
were 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, 7 or 8, and I looked at them and I was just like, "It's the coolest thing I've ever seen." And then I went and been a teenager for a bit, and then come back when I was 16 and went, "No, I want to play 40K again."
Okay, so I wasn't allowed it until I was 10. So I got it.
What do you mean you weren't allowed it? What was it going to do?
Because we went into the shop. I went to a shop, and we were just walking past the shop in central Milton Keynes one day. And I was like, oh my gosh, like hand pushed to the glass, staring at these models. And we were like, we have to go in. And we went in and we were looking around.
Not allowed.
And the guy and the shop manager was just like, yeah, it's all really cool. He does his sales stuff, and he's going, but I want to suggest to you though, because I was like maybe 8.5, maybe 9. He's like, he needs to be sort of 10-ish to be able to come up and play the games and do the models and stuff like that.
What a dick. Nowadays, it's like, how old are you? I've got a 9-year-old daughter. Let's get them playing.
Well, there you go. And I bought it. Me and my cousin got it, and it was the 3rd edition. And it was the Dark Elder versus the Black Templars.
I think I remember that box. That was a really cool artwork.
That was so cool. And I remember the Necrons being released and the Tau being released. I remember Gorka Morka.
Don't remember that.
The Diggers. And
see, you're a bigger nerd than me.
Well, I mean, I remember joining Milton Keynes War Game Society.
How old were you?
I would have been 12 years old.
Wow.
12, 13-year-old, whatever it is, hanging out with a bunch of guys that are now our age.
Which are now granddads,
games.
Probably.
I am so thankful to them for putting up with me being so annoying and,
Yeah, 12-year-old you, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does that do? Hello. Oh, what's that? Is that a 6? I've got some dice at home.
That's why we have our club has such a good relationship with them
because we don't allow kids in.
We don't allow kids in. It's like we learn.
Leave your kids at the door. Can play some real man games.
All right, I'm gonna roll my dice. Did you paint your men? Real man games.
Real man game. That's it. I remember they sold 40K in Hasbro.
Hasbro.
Was it No, Toy Master. I don't know why I said Hasbro.
Toy Master. I was just saying.
Hasbro is a board game company. No, Toy Master.
I do remember Toy Master. I used to have it.
And they had, and I remember buying a Dark Elder speeder.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I built it.
It's the most rubbish model ever.
It was good at the time.
Oh, I don't know.
And I think it's the same model. I think they've still got the same model. But I bought that and I built it. I think, God, how old was I? I must have been about 10 because I was like, I really want this. I remember seeing this in school. I want to buy it. And my dad was like, and I was there for ages picking one model for my army I'm going to make. And I thought, these guys look cool with their spiky helmets. And
what's the lore behind them? Well, they farm humans and sacrifice them and are sadomasochists.
And they're into BDSM.
BDSM elves.
Ooh, but when I was 10, I was like, "What's a BDSM?" Anyway, so yeah, I built it and then I put it there, and then I went, "Now what?" And then I'm gonna go carry on playing GoldenEye.
Gosh, see, I made the choice. Because I play computer games, being the stupid nut I am, I made a choice in my mid-teens going like, I could play computer games or I could play war games.
Yeah,
I did discover
I play
girls.
computer.
I
Did you?
discover girls about 16.
What computer board? Ooh, Sisters of Battle.
This is a battle.
Ooh,
I did. I
ooh,
bought a load.
it's my
I finally
girlfriend.
sold those, but
You sold your girlfriend.
I had my 2
You sold
years
your
away.
first love.
I had my 2 years away. You know, I traveled the world, left the games workshop, and just
Never came back. And then I brought a Tower Army.
then I bought a Tower Army, and now
I remember you had,
myself.
actually, to be fair, I remember you had an Imperial Guard army. That was just 100 men.
5,000 points of Imperial. I had more than that.
Yeah, no, all infantry.
All infantry.
Were they painted?
Base coated.
Proud to. Grey.
200 Imperial Guard base coated and 2 tanks or something like that.
They didn't have washes at the time.
There was loads of like Kazakhin and I don't know, just stuff like that. But,
Yeah.
And loads of Forge World bits. And,
So I'm trying to think where we've come from on this.
well, I didn't move on. I can clarify that. I still continued my love of giant infantry armies to this day.
Yeah, cool.
I painted this week. This one my painting line was, and I painted 100 Soviet infantry, and I hate them.
Good job. Hit 3 cheers to washing. Oh, if you've got it, if you're watching on the YouTube, you've just shown a very blurry.
There you go. There's another blurry one. There you go.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's really good.
Done.
Really good paint job. That is.
Yep.
I mean, it's good in a blurry camera.
I mean, it's a World War II game where everyone's in green, so it's just shades of green and brown.
I'll undercoat my guys green, and I'll wash.
Well,
I'll wash again. Then I'll wash my hands.
On my Napoleonics next, but that's going to take a bit more.
Oh God, I can't think of anything more mundane.
But that's where the rule set comes in. Like we're saying.
Oh, you know you're a nerd.
Okay.
When someone goes, I've collected the Napoleon army, and I'm like, oh, that's so lame. Hang on a second. That's not all. Look at the rules. The rules. Look at the book. If
I don't
the
know,
book
but
doesn't get you,
whatever.
I don't know what will. No.
I mean, the rules are laid out atrociously bad, but it is. I'm looking at the map now, going like, why is this in this place?
Dale, I just saw the book, and you've color coded it with what looks like sticky notes.
Yeah,
which is always a good sign of a rule book when you have to sticky note the rules. It's always a good sign. So,
as a random event,
okay,
if you roll 2 on the move-in random event, the event "Hello, Ladies" happens.
What's
1d3 men are convinced that a nearby building is home to some rather beautiful ladies, and they slip away to present their cards.
Present.
The player who owns the figures must immediately select the men and move them to the nearest building. They will remain there until contacted by a leader, at which point they will join whatever group or formation. Just random, literally.
That sounds boring.
What a terrible win. Dress the ranks. The ground is worse than it looks. Spit and feathers. A group formation conducts your movements -1. Like just random stuff. Someone falls off your horse. And then, the best one is you can have...
Sorry, I'm going to take that back. Not the word boring. I think boring's a bad word. That's not boring. That's quite funny. Is it?
I always play your games. You are going to play some of my games. I always play your games. I will play Sky Tier.
I don't tell you to play my games.
No. Oh, this is amazing. This is great. Everyone's going to play this game. All right,
I never said that. I never say, this. I never said the last bit. Everyone's going to play this game.
You should buy it.
I said, I'm starting a new game. This looks really good. Do you want to have a game? And you go, sure. And then I go, cool. And then you go, do you want to play my game? And I go, no. This looks boring.
I want you.
Napoleonics.
I want you to play a game of Saga with me.
Yes.
I do want you. I want you to experience the battle board mechanic and just look at it and go, I don't understand it.
I'll play. I will play that game. I'm 3 cheers for lockdown, so I've got time to
postpone it.
I can't meet up.
Oh yeah.
I hope you've got a 2 meter board.
I've got COVID. Oh, didn't you have that 2 weeks ago, Hamish?
It's back.
Oh.
Oh, I appear to be furloughed.
Oh, mate.
Oh dear. So yeah,
Do you
that's.
want like say
Oh,
like
I will.
like gas? Okay, like I Gaslands is a great fun game.
Yeah,
You just see some Hot Wheels.
yeah. Gas lanes. I'll play that.
Lands.
Gaslands. I'll play that. I've played it. That's a fun game.
We did some demo games at Campaign 2020. 2020.
We didn't do the demo game, or did
No,
we?
no, but we played in one. Remember last year?
We were going to do the demo for this year. Obviously, we do a thing called MK Campaign.
That's been
If you don't know.
postponed to
I know.
October now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if it's October, it's in Milton Keynes. If anyone wants to come down and say hello, you
We'll
can,
be
and then
there.
you can, and we'll be there. We'll have some games to demo, and most likely will be Gaslands. I will be bringing Skytier because it's a perfectly good game to demo.
I'm
It's
going
simple and
to
easy.
perfectly reenact the Battle of Waterloo in full 28mm with exacting numbers and uniforms.
Don't do what everyone else is doing, Dale.
That is what. That's so bad. So those people are like, oh, and you look over and you go, wow, this is an amazing board. Look at all these figures. And then you walk over and you're like, oh, what is it? And they're like, it's a reenactment of the Battle of Balaclava. And you go, oh, can we join in? No.
No.
Oh,
I
thanks.
honestly just look around these guys and goes, look at all these freaks playing these Napoleonic games. Ew! I'm gonna go back and pretend I'm playing League of Legends on a board. What a bunch of losers.
The hierarchy of nerds.
Yeah, and then all these, and then everyone else will go, look at these guys playing these stupid board games. I'm gonna go off and play Pokemon like a big boy.
The best and worst reflection of it, though, is when people are like, "Oh, it's so good that we've got young people here who come along and play games and demonstrate," and we're like,
we're losers.
You've been saying that to us for the last 10 years.
Yeah, that's true. They say, "Oh, isn't it great?" Yeah, we're not young anymore.
We're not the
we're not young anymore.
Like, if we're still the youngest people, we've got issues.
We're not doing well. You guys did well to get the young people playing. We're doing terrible. Nah, to be fair, the young people are. I think that they're on this. They like this game. They like this. I think no, not Aztec.
They're not playing their Fortnites and their war zones and.
No, they're doing Fortnites and their war zones. War zones. Yeah, the war zone, isn't it? Yeah, that's the Modern Warfare game. Have you played it?
I watched. No, I haven't.
It's horrible.
I've downloaded it.
Yeah,
you know me. I can't stand anything with tension and like, ooh, unless it's like a really,
unless it's dice involved.
Unless this is a really good board game or war game. It's right up to the very end, and everyone's just like, ooh. But oh no.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. No, Warzone's terrible. Everything's terrible unless it's Skytier. It's terrible. No, yeah, no, that I like Apex Legends. That's a great battle royale style game. That's made from Respawn. They're really good. I really like that.
When our TV dies, I probably won't replace it.
Would you not?
I don't know.
What are you gonna watch the NFL
on?
Got you there, didn't I?
I mean, I've got my spare TV.
See, okay.
I don't know. I can watch it on my iPad.
Okay, that's true, but
I'll buy a projector.
There you go. Who needs a TV when I can get a bigger thing? I can make it bigger.
I can make it bigger.
Yeah, I ain't having this big TV.
I want it.
I'm gonna get a projector.
I want it in true scale. When I'm staring at the guys, I want to feel like I'm there.
I want you to get an overhead projector. Do you remember them?
Yeah, OHP. just putting sheets.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, sheets in and...
God, it makes you feel old.
And you'd sing like songs in school assembly.
Yeah, and then they have the sheet there, and then you always see the panic of the teacher trying to put the next sheet on as quick as possible, and they get it upside down or back to front, and you're like, "Oh shit!" And then you go, they're trying to get it the right way, and you're like,
the school paid for some teaching materials that came on like rollers, so they'd roll through the lesson.
Yeah.
Like, and
oh, what? They have a roller?
Yeah, so you'd roll through.
Me, that's advanced.
And that was like really like wow. And I
whoa, this is. And then Windows 98 showed up. I went, whoa.
I know we had to do BBC computer. We did stuff on BBC computers. I remember that.
BBC computers.
Yeah, like our school.
no, I wasn't. I didn't do that.
Crap neighborhood that our school was still using these things from like the mid 80s and the early to mid 90s.
Oh, I think that was most people. I mean, I think we had one computer from Windows 98.
Oh, I remember the computer room.
Never had one.
You'd have to.
We didn't have one.
Like in secondary school, there was the computer room.
The IT room. Yeah,
You'd have to go to a room to use the computer.
The computer, yes. And then all you did on that was, my friends got really good at that, and all they had to try to do was to hack or bypass some school security system, which was always terrible. Yeah. And I remember there was a way they found out how to do chat. So it was like a form of MSN. Do you remember MSN?
I remember MSN.
Sitting
up all night on MSN.
Yeah. Oh, how am I going to send this picture? I'll quickly change my profile picture. No, but they had this way of doing it, like this chat on that, and I thought, whoa, this is mind blowing. We all had our own code, and you had to know your. It was good. Oh, you had to try and get past the school security so you could play on browser games, like the
Newgrounds.
Newgrounds and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. You had, but the school would go, oh, we're going to lock that down, and one guy would go, well, I know how to get past all this stuff, and everyone's like, oh shit, go get him. I remember my IT teacher gave me an A. I got an A in my GCSEs. Do you know why? Because he basically told everyone, copy my work and you'll get a great grade. And we went, thank you, sir. He was the best teacher. But then he said, what did I get? I got a B in coursework, which is pretty much me copying him. But he just said, put some input of your own thing. Okay. And I was like, oh, okay. And he said, oh, this is actually really good. Here's a B. Thank you. Now he said, if you do really well in your exams, you'll get a good grade. I was like, this will be good. And I thought, that was the only thing I revised for in my GCSE. It's the only one. And I got an E. And I thought, Jesus, that's the only one I tried for.
I've never tried again.
No, and then my maths and everyone, I just didn't. I didn't try, and then I got terrible grades. Obviously, I could spell fudge with my GCSEs. I got an F. I could spell fudge with my grade, but my combined total of my IT was like, your coursework's a B, and I was like, yeah, your exam was an E. No. And I was like, well, I hope I'll probably get a C. No, you got a D, son. I was like, shit. I only got a C, weirdly enough, in religious education. The only subject, RE, the only subject where you can't get an answer wrong. Just make it sound plausible.
I mean, you can get answers wrong.
No, you could get bad points for not having a good argument.
It was like, what meat do Muslims not eat?
No, it wasn't like that. They just gave us They gave us a question, and we had to give an answer to a question. But the answer was kind of.
You could argue that about a lot of English and stuff like that.
No, English tend to have you had to give us the exact answer. In RE, it was just based on how solid your backup of your argument would be. So you would say, they would give you a question about, I don't know, something, and you go, well, I think it's this from these points that I remember that you taught me. Okay.
Was there a Warhammer club in your school?
Yes.
Did you?
Sorry. Yes. I went. I started to go for a little bit. It was rubbish. It was just school tables pushed together, and it did the job, but it was all right. And then I stopped because I wanted to be in a band and chat shit to girls, and then that lasted a year or two, and then I went. Oh, I think it was War Machine that dragged me back in. I think was it War
It
Machine?
gets you. It's crack. It is addictive. It's crack.
It was War Machine that dragged me back in because I remember my brother and Ben went to the store and said, "Oh, we were going to do some 40k, but
Was this
War
Project
Machine."
Hydra then?
Yeah. And then they said, "Oh, there's this new game that we're playing." And I was like, "I've got nothing to do. I haven't got band practice." So I had a game, and I went, "Oh my fucking god, I love this shit."
I mean,
This is I love tabletop gaming. It was just like, this is the best thing ever. This is better than computer gaming in my opinion, because it's just, you got all the tactics of behind it, but I'm actually with you, and we can actually. It was just like, this is nuts. Why does no one else do this like in the same way? And then there you go, and I haven't stopped since. Why am I banging on about all this shit? I don't know.
You started talking about RE, and I just zoned out. Not gonna lie. So if you listen to that, then you can just, I don't know.
You can just turn this podcast right off.
I hope you skipped over that bit going, when is he?
No, they went, fuck this shit. I'm gonna go watch a streamer. So I'm currently, when we get back into things, I'll be punching straight into Skytear. I'm an ambassador for that game as well.
Are you now?
I am an ambassador.
Do they have like a funny name, like
it's the ambassador? Yeah, that's what it's called.
What is it? Your press gangers.
War
correspondence was Infinity.
Was it?
Henchman was Malifaux.
I'm trying to remember what the champions one was, because I was one of them as well. God, what was I called?
Championista.
The cockmonger. No, I don't know. I can't remember. The cock garglers. No, I think it was like some lore master or something like that. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, it's a dude that is basically getting paid for nothing to promote a game. Pretty much. But you're meant to get like some pat on the back and some, you could talk to the officials.
When we put out that we're doing another we're starting up the episodes again, that was the most asked question we had, which was, what game is Hamish killing right now?
Skytear is this season's game execution. Hopefully by episode 10 this game would have died on its ass, and everyone goes, "Do you remember that game? Yeah, it was really good." And then all of a sudden,
Hamish just crying at these boxes of models he's got in his room that he can't use anymore.
I'm not gonna lie. This game is the hardest game to get started by far.
Yeah,
by far the hardest game to get started, because most games tend to show up at a time where, like, for example, Champions, that came about because I remember seeing it. I wasn't interested at first, and I suppose really the answer is, did you get on board because everyone else got on board? It helped, yeah. When any game shows up and you've got 5 people going, "Oh, I really want to play this game," and you go, "Oh, there's 5 people who want to play this game. What is this game? Oh, this game's pretty good." And 5 people also think it's really good. Hey, that makes 6 of us. That's a community already talking and getting excited. That's going to get any game to just kick off quite well. No one knew this game existed. Like, no one whatsoever. It wasn't even being sold in the UK. I had to get a shop and convince them to stock this product. That's how much I had to get this game into our sphere. Now, we do have a local shop that stocks this game, but I had to demo that. I had to meet up with the guy, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot of work just so I can get someone to play this game with me. So it's, and then even when I got started, a lot of people were just a bit like,
it's another game that Hamish has brought along.
Yeah, I don't know if I can be bothered. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of understand that because everyone got really busy all of a sudden. Keyforge was just a huge thing. So this usual group of people that I can
I'm
generally
excited
convince
to see what happens. The new releases for Keyforge are slightly so.
So
My wife and I play that, and so
I've played that as well. I say I play it.
We've watched our wives have played it.
Yes, that was in the last episode.
Yeah, the last episode.
Was there? They were playing Keyforge, and we were talking about Gen Con.
And we had to pop over and like explain some rules occasionally.
Yes, but there was So that was that. So yeah, but in this game it's been really hard. But right now, for some reason, I put the thing into the Team Covenant. They've played this a couple of times and went and they've got that same sort of thing that that I found where they went, this is really, really good. They started to heavily promote this more, to which a lot of the guys in our sphere have just went, hey, Skytier, I've heard about this and it looks interesting. So everyone's getting those feelers out. And I'm like, yes, thank God. Finally, people are looking at this game and I've got all the sets and I'm ready to go. So, I'm hoping when the lockdown ends, I've got more to talk about with that.
It's been a hard time. I know we're not playing. I know that our club's not going. We're not going to be going for some time. And we're fine. Like the club wise.
The club's fine.
As long as the venue is there, we'll sort it out. I'm really feeling it for the friendly local gaming stores right now, though.
That's a struggle. But thank God Magic exists. Thank God these Magic players need these new cards.
During this time, a lot of people have moved online during this time. So
true, but there's still people willing to spend a heck of a lot of money, and these stores are willing to deliver. I mean, they're not going to get the same money back.
Because you can't. Even for the first start, you're not going to be able to play in store and stuff like that, are you? It's only going to be go in, get your stuff, and get out. So,
but that's what the store needs that for money. So they're still shifting the product. They just got to try. I don't know. Just hoping that they can come up with some creative ways to keep selling. Oh, one thing I suppose we're doing a bit more is we've done more RPGs than ever. I've never been taking part in so many RPGs in my life. In other words, I did 2. Whoa! So we're currently doing vampires, aren't we?
Vampire. Yep, we're doing the medieval vampire.
Yeah.
We did Cthulhu, the one shot Cthulhu thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to run a Woofrup. For us.
There's another one that I've just started up. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Right. There is a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure RPG. And I'm currently trying to figure out who my character is going to be, and I'm trying to also make a stand. A stand is this basically it's a punch ghost. It's this really over the top dude that just punches the crap out of the person in the program. But they've always got this weird power, and some of them are I stop time. The other one is I not only stop time, but I can also predict the future. And I can dictate multiple avenues and pick the one I want. Well, that's not complex.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're ridiculously complex. And now I'm trying to figure out a guy and what does this stand do? And my brother come up with, my stand is not a thing, it's a tomahawk. And when I throw it, it will screech at the enemy and it will only chase after someone if their instincts are in fight or flight. And then when it hits them, it will then transfer memories of what their powers are to me.
Some random shit.
It's basically like, what the fuck is going on? But that's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I'm trying to figure out what my stand's going to do. I'll come up. Once I figure it out, I'll
I'd be excited to see that.
Next episode.
I don't know. Yeah, let me know how that goes. And yeah. I don't know.
Well, welcome back, everyone. It's episode 1 of season 2. So if you're probably wondering where the last episodes are, Podbean has I'm not paying for that anymore. So all those episodes are gone. They're not gone forever. I've still got the files on my computer.
If you wanted.
Do you really want to hear me figuring out how to do a podcast for the first 4 episodes with random people talking about a game that no longer exists? Nah. Or do you want to hear about this time I went to Gen Con in 2019? Well, that sounds like fun, Hamish.
Whatever it is, if you like us, give us some love on Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah.
Recommend us to your mum, your sister, your friend. We don't care.
And then you can show them the podcast. We should be on. Well, if you'll be hearing us on SoundCloud.
Yeah. So.
And hopefully Apple, the Apple
we'll
store.
push out to all the stuff.
Yeah. Brill. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. And we'll see you again in, I don't know,
a couple weeks time.
Yeah. Whenever.
Maybe something happens in the world.
Maybe this is the end of season 2 now already. Maybe we'll go straight to season 3.
What does it say? What's going to be next for the world?
Well,
the end credits are coming.
Yeah.
There's got.
All right. Peace out.